afternoon. My name is Andre Norman, and I'm here today to share this message with you about reentry. I trust that you're in this room only because you're about to go home. And I'm in this room because not only do I want to see you go home, I want to see you stay home. I've seen countless people come home and go back to prison, not because they wanted to go to prison, not because they weren't opportunities, but mainly because they weren't prepared. The reason I'm here today is to help you prepare for your release. Most people come back to jail not because they want to be there, but because while they were there, they failed to plan. So I designed this video to help you not to get a job, not to find housing. The objective of this video is to help you to start thinking about what it means to be free. What goes on in your mind will make all the difference in your life and the life of the people you encounter. And I believe that you have the right to succeed, and I believe that you can succeed. But first, you have to believe it. Second, you got to deal with your issues. Third, you got to put together a plan. And fourth, coming back home, getting in touch with your family, your children, your siblings, your parents, and how that's going to affect your life. And point number 5 is dealing with a higher power, your higher power, and faith. Since you've been inside, you've been surrounded by nothing but negativity. Every day is drama. Every day is chaos. Now, you need to separate yourself from that negativity. You need to separate yourself from that mindset that goes along with the negativity. In the time you've been here, you've watched countless people go home. And unfortunately, in the time you've been here, you've watched countless people come back. Some of the people who've come back are people that you think are smarter than you. You thought were better prepared than you. You thought had everything together. And if you thought that person who had that much advantage over you is back, what chance can you stand? How can you possibly make it if they didn't? Once you adopt that thinking, fear sets in. And it's a fear of succeeding because we think we're less than the person who came back. And the truth is, they came back because they weren't mentally ready to be free.
My father sold drugs. My stepfather robbed banks. So I grew up to be someone who robbed drug dealers. Both my fathers ended up moving out of the house. Mom raised 6 kids by herself. So what happens? I want nice shoes. I want nice clothes. I'm trying to impress this girl to come to my house and go out with me. I didn't have no job at 14. So dudes running away put me on to selling weed in the park. We started selling weed in the park. It was all good. Then one day we ran late going to the park. So we went down to the park. We caught Steve, our man, and snuffed him and took his 200. Then we started saying, well, damn, what's the point of standing in the park all day dodging the police? We can come down here for 5 minutes and get the same money. So we went from being drug dealers to drug robbers. So now we got guns and we robbing the kids in our park. Then we started finding other parks around the city and robbing kids the same way. Then it went from robbing people on the street for drug money, then we started finding drug houses. Boston got played out fast. It's a small city. Then we just kept moving it down. We hit all the way down to Georgia. When it's all said and done, 7 to 10 years, armed robbery. 9 to 10 years, possession of a shotgun with intent to do harm. 10 years, kidnapping. 10 years, armed robbery. 15 to 20 years, armed home evasion. 15 to 20 years, armed carjacking. 15 years mandatory. I'm 18, doing next to forever. I don't get better, I get worse. Long story short, segregation. I've been shipped around the country. Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, Terre Haute, Indiana, Atlanta, Georgia, all USPs, El Reno, Oklahoma, Talladega, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee, all FCIs, Otisville. You pick a place, I done been in it.
70% of people who leave prison come back. You know this because you've seen them come back. In the time you've been sitting here, you've watched countless people go home. What you have to do is really say to yourself, I want to be free, and mean it.
Craziest thing in the world. I'm in segregation for trying to kill 2 people. I just got a brand new sentence. I was on the verge of killing somebody the day before over a dispute. I reached a point where I had enough. Then I just wake up one day and I decided I want to do something different. And I sat in my cell one day and I said, well, what am I going to do? And I decided that day that I wanted to go home, and I wanted to go to college, and I picked Harvard University.
The obstacles are not the issue. Where you live is not the issue. Other individuals are not the issue. Your desire is the issue. And your desire must start with you wanting to believe that you can make it.
And when I came out my cell in the morning, I told my fellas what time it was. I was going home, going to college. Everybody laughed at me. But it wasn't about anybody believing me. I had a dream, I had a purpose, and I exercised it. I ended up getting my GED. But the thing was, I worked on changing my attitude. Because my attitude was just jacked. I had been raised to be in prison. I had been raised to be violent. I had been raised to not believe and trust in myself. Learning the law down in the law library, those older brothers taught me the law. I got me a good lawyer. I flipped 2 cases.
People go home every single day. And 70% of the people you see walk out the gate that you shake hands with will be back in under 3 years. The 70% is a real number. Nobody made that up. They count the people inside, they count the people as they go outside, and they count the people as they come back. It's not a conspiracy, it's not a plan, it's just hard numbers. And we know the numbers better than anybody. How many people have you seen come back in your time here? There's a lot of things outside that wall waiting for you, but the one thing that's waiting for you is freedom. It begins with your belief that success is possible, that a good life is possible, and that you're deserving of a good life. Nobody else can believe that for you. This is your life. Point number 2 is planning and accountability. You have to put together a plan, and you have to include accountability. If you have a plan already, if you do not have a plan already, and you're in the process of making a plan, please include in your plan somebody to be accountable to. It has to be someone that you respect and someone who's living right. You find someone that's trustworthy, that's stable, that has your best interest at heart, and is not scared to tell you no. Someone who's not scared to tell you might be messing up, and someone who might just say, you know something, you can do better, and to push you. Having that accountable person will make your life so much better. I'm not saying sign papers and turn your life over to the person, but just someone you can be real with, someone that you can be open to, and someone that you can go to for guidance. You've been guiding your life all the way to this cell. You need someone that you can go to and to find out what's the best solution sometimes. We don't always come up with the best solution. I found that out the hard way. So now, when I have a problem or situation, I have 3 or 4 people that I can call before I actually go out and do something and make a mistake. Mistakes aren't necessary. They do not have to happen. But only when we don't go to people and ask for help, we're more inclined to make mistakes. So I ask that you put into your plan somebody that you can be accountable to, someone that you respect, someone that you model after, and someone that's living right. I've seen so many guys sit in a cell and decide, when I go home, I'm gonna make it happen. When I go home, I'm gonna do X or Y. You cannot wait until you go home. Take the time that's available to you now and make it work for you. Because what you do on the inside is what you're gonna do on the outside. So if you're in your cell using drugs, when you get home, you'll be using drugs. If you're in here drinking homebrew, when you get home, you'll be drinking wine. If you're in here smoking cigarettes, when you get home, you'll be smoking cigarettes. If you're in here studying and trying to make yourself better, when you get home, you'll be studying and trying to make yourself better. There is no magic dust that they're gonna put on you when you walk through that gate. The only person walking out of that gate is the person that's sitting in this room. So if you improve that person today, then the person that goes out of here tomorrow will be a better person. You have to develop a foundation while you're inside. You can go to the library, find different foundations. You can read the newspaper and just see who's out there doing the work that will benefit you. And reach out to them people now. Build that foundation and stand on it. The average age of the people who are going home this year is 25. Most people live to be 80 years old. That gives you 55 years left on this planet. Take 2 or 3 years and build a foundation. Take that time to get somebody in your life to hold you accountable to what you say you want to do. Listening to yourself is not always the best way to go. What is it to invest 3 years in your own life? It starts today. You need to sit down, design a focused plan, include your accountability, and go ahead and build your foundation and live on that. The foundation you build here and when you go home is going to support you for the next 55 years. Point number 3, past issues, current issues. I'm glad that you're turning your life around, and I'm glad that you decided that when you go home, you're not coming back. That you're gonna go out, you're gonna do the right thing, and you're gonna have a great life, and I applaud you for that. But we still have to be realistic about where you came from and the issues you had then, as well as some of the current issues you might have. Substance abuse is serious. Some of you are in gangs, some of you hang around gangs, and it's something that you have to deal with. And it's not conducive to staying out of jail. Some of you dropped out of high school, some of you finished college, but you've been in jail so long, you really haven't had the opportunity to use your education. The need to hustle is a real addiction. So you have to sit down and look at these points and decide how you're gonna deal with them. I suggest counseling. Some of y'all are right now laughing and clowning the screen. This dude said we should go to counseling. Who he talking about? Let me explain something to you. You're in an institution. You've been here for multiple years. You're around all men. People tell you when to go to the bathroom. People tell you when to sleep. People tell you when your mother can come see you. They tell you when you can use the phone. Counseling is to help you deal with things that are not normal. You cannot live in a system that's dictated and directed to this extreme for this long and not have it affect you. Being institutionalized is a real serious problem. A lot of people don't want to admit that they're institutionalized. All institutionalized means is that you are set in a pattern that you run in that's been dictated by somebody else. You cannot spend this much time in a confined setting and not become institutionalized. We know when child time is. We know what day laundry is. We know what day gym is. We know what day visits are, and we function accordingly. When you leave here, there will be no laundry time. There will be no child time. There will be no rec calls. It will just be you. You've been functioning on a bell system, on a horn system, on a count system for so many years now, and if you think that you're just gonna walk out of here, go home and shake it off, it doesn't work like that. You need to seek some help, and the fact that you've been here so long and that it no longer bothers you to the same extreme when you first came in here tells you it's become normal to you. Please, in your plan, include some kind of counseling because you're gonna need that. I've been to counseling, I have no problem with it. For those of you who are laughing, I'm not even mad at you. Because when I first came to jail, I thought counseling was funny too. I thought all this stuff that I'm talking about was a joke. I did my 14, and as my time ticked down, I started asking myself some really serious questions when I was by myself. You have to put the past behind you. Let the prison stuff stay in prison. Get your mind right. Stop the games, at least to yourself. Because if you're living in a fantasy world, you'll be back in a fantasy world. The fourth point is understanding family dynamics. When you were a 2-year-old little kid and you were all cute and sitting on your mama's bed and watching TV and everybody came to see you, there was no problem. But somewhere between when you was 2 and you turned 16 or 17, you went from being a little cute kid playing with blocks to a young cat playing with guns. Now you find yourself locked up. I asked you, what happened to that little 2-year-old cute kid? Where did he go? How did he turn into a troubled teen-year? How did he turn into the man that's sitting in this chair now? You weren't always tough. You weren't always locked up. You weren't always known to be a criminal. Someplace in your life, there's a void. And that void that came into your life pushed you into the street. I don't know what the void was. I don't know if it was abuse, neglect, mismanagement of time, education, no one believing in you. I don't know what caused your void. But I do know that void pushed you into the street. And once you got into the streets turned you over to the penitentiary. Now you're in prison, ready to start the cycle over again. My question is, what have you done to address that void? Do you even acknowledge that there's a void in your life? Or do you think you're a criminal just because? I believe you're that 2-year-old kid who had a great smile. I'm not going for the I run the block and I hold it down guy. You were not born to be here. Now, you're inside. When you go home, you're gonna have been the toughest guy in prison. You held it down. You did your time. You're a soldier. You're a warrior. That's who you became, but that's not who you were born to be. So if you believe that you're good at doing this, you have a problem. It's that simple. Let me be the one to tell you today, you're better than this. I know because I've been there. Maybe nobody's told you. Maybe it's been a while since they told you. And this is not your lot in life. It's a stop along the way. Everybody has a perfect family when they're behind bars. Mom is a queen, dad's a king, you live in a castle. Everybody has a wonderful life. The truth of the matter is, a lot of us came from jacked up situations. The real deal is, there's some shady neighborhoods that we come from. There's some drug abuse in our families. And when we go home, a lot of us are going home to worse than what we came from. You have to be real about where you're going. I'm not trying to down your family. I'm not trying to put you out there. But if you're talking fantasy, that fantasy's gonna crash when you pull up in that door. Your family's gonna be somewhat worse off than when you left them, perhaps. There's gonna be some guilt around you being in jail and them being free. Don't exploit their guilt. Don't exploit the situation. Don't be a burden, be a blessing. Your mother's been struggling. Your father's been struggling. Your kids have been struggling. Your wife has been struggling. Since you've been in, there's been some people in your family who've stepped up to help you. There's been people in your family who haven't stepped up to help you, who've walked away. Don't allow the people who've walked away to hinder your success. And don't disappoint the people in your family who've stepped up. They care for you, they love you, and they want to help you. You have to give them a person to help. Everybody's family dynamics are different. You have to decide that you want to embrace your family and lead them. Leaders come from within. Your family needs a leader. So as you go home, be mindful that you've had a chance to strengthen yourself and that they're going to be looking to you for strength. You have to believe that you can lead them to a better place. And be real with yourself about who your family is and how you fit into that scenario. If you have family members that don't deal with you, have turned their backs on you, show them love. Help them discover why they need to deal with you. Don't go the hard guy route. Forget them, I don't need them. They're your family. People who love you is a great thing. And if they love you and their family, it's even better. They need help, and they're counting on you. Everybody can't have the ideal situation, but you can make it ideal and make it better if you put your mind to it. Point number 5, fellas, is the higher power. A lot of people have gone to 12 steps, NA, AA, and it teaches you about dealing with your higher power and embracing your higher power. You need to stay with that and trust in it. And when I talk about higher power, I often think about faith. We all know the definition of faith. It's the belief in things not yet seen. You have to have faith in yourself. You need to believe in things that you haven't seen yet. You need to know that when you get outside these walls, that you're gonna do well. And you need to believe that your higher power is gonna stay with you. This is easier said than done, but if God is really with you, anything is possible. If you can believe in here that God is real, you should be able to believe out there that God is real. And I assure you, from my own life and my own testimony, God is beyond real. He can take you to places you never dreamed of. Don't turn your back on your higher power. It's gotten you to this point. If you embrace it, it will embrace you.
They say time heals all wounds, and well, you done your time in dark rooms where brothers cry out and others die out under full moons that they ain't seen in years, cause ain't no clear windows here, and it ain't no real kinfolk here. It's only wounds. Only fiends and peers with the meanest fears. And in real life, you feel like your dreams is near, but reality is you just want to show that you're clean and clear and that your freedom's here. Now your screams and tears must be transferred into a means to hear the truth. And the truth is, you ain't going back. You'd much rather decide to stand and get your life on track. Ain't got no time for no gray areas. All you need is right or black, either right or wrong. You need to live and make sure that your life is long. Instead of you serving life alone with a wife at home, you'd much rather master your mind and make sure your might is strong. See, you're just another guy who's been given another try, transformed into a butterfly. So when I see you flutter by, your wings be like something I ain't never seen before. So unique, and when they get weak, God allows you to soar. And it's funny, because before, you was only a worm, crawling on your belly, trapped on the floor, with your mother in the back like, Lord, save my baby, because I know that he's made us so much more. But you only saw God as a no-touch Lord, which is why the streets just seem to have so much lore. You was caught like meat in the cold cut ore, trapped like in Iraq in this endless war. But this morning, you woke up smiling. This morning, you woke up cheesing, happy to be alive, another day to die for what you believe in. This morning, you woke up smiling, not mourning or grieving about this evening, because every moment that you got for breathing seems like more than a good enough reason for you to smile. See, you are the example of a grown man transformed into an infant child. See, you're different now. You've been set free. You know, you get no credit. You're still debt-free. You've been given a designation to start a celebration, so if you can't find nothing to celebrate for, then please let me. Because this morning, the first morning in a long time that you woke up smiling, they say time heals all wounds. And well, brother, you done your time, so now your wounds are healed. And they transform themselves into wisdom.
You have to believe that success is possible, and you have to actually really want it. Once you embrace that premise, anything is possible. The second thing is you need to start planning now, and accountability in your plan truly matters. Dealing with your past and current issues is not to be taken lightly. Look at those, sit down, seek counseling for the things that are not normal in your life. Dealing with your family is going to be one of the toughest things that you're going to have to do, because they know you to be one person and you're about to show them a whole new you. Keeping your faith. Never lose sight of your higher power, because your higher power has never lost sight of you. Now that you've heard the 5 points, don't stop at this video. Keep pushing. And with that, we know you're gonna make it. Keep it real, and I'll see you on the other side.